my work onto the generalized coronagraphs. This the generalized coronagraphs defined by the Erdos-Chennai graph. I am working on this work. This is my currently ongoing work, which I have not submitted anywhere. So this work is being jointly being done along with Dr. Vibhas Adhikari and Dr. Budhanand Banerjee, who are the faculties at the Department of Mathematics at IIT Kharagpur, Indian Institute of Technology Kharagpur. So here I shall present about the coronagraphs. One thing I want to mention that coronagraphs are not related to the coronavirus. These are being proposed by Frucht and Harare in the year 1970. So right now, I before going into the detail, I want to say that here into this particular case, first of all, I will give a brief introduction about this work. The introduction is about the complex networks, and then I shall propose about the building blocks of the networks. What are the building blocks? What are their properties which are being studied into the literature? Then I shall explain about the corona product of two graphs which are being proposed by Harare and the Frucht. So then I shall go towards the corona graphs. Now with the help of this particular base, I shall move on to the generalized corona graphs, which have been defined by the Erdos-Chennai graph. And there I shall go into the properties of these graphs, and finally I shall give a brief onto the conclusion and the future work. So let me give the introduction. So I used to work onto the modeling onto of the complex networks. Now into the complex networks, the real world systems are being represented in some of the cases into the form of the network, such that the nodes in this network are the subsystems of the systems, while the edges or the connections in between them or the links in between these subsystems can be recognized as the dependencies or the interaction in between the subsystems of these networks. Generally, the properties of these systems are not known. So some of the people used to call it as the complex networks. Although there is no universal definition for the complex networks, that how we can be able to say a network is complex and how we can be able to say that this network is not complex. But generally, according to me, that if we can be able to explain the properties of all the properties of a particular network, then that particular network is then not complex. But if the properties are not clear, we cannot be able to say which apart from the number of the nodes and the edges, which are the factors that give rise to those networks. Then we used to call them as the complex networks. The example of such complex networks are being observed into the literature as into the biological networks, like the protein-protein interaction networks, where the different proteins are interacting with each other, with the bonds in between them. Then the gene regulatory networks. Similarly, into the food web, where the prey-predator network is there, the predators are feeding onto the prey. Similarly, the transportation networks, like the railway networks, where the different crosses are there, and where the different railway stations are there, and those railway stations are being connected with the railway lines, which are acting as the edges. Similarly, the road networks, where the crosses or in a city is there, and the connecting roads in between them form the road networks. Social networks like the Facebook, Twitter, we all of us know that into the those people who are taking part into them can be regarded as the nodes, while the friendship in between them can be regarded as the edges. Similarly, the telecommunication networks like the internet, then the information networks like the software and the World Wide Web. Here I want to mention that internet and the World Wide Web is a different thing. World Wide Web is basically about the different web pages which are there onto the network, and with the help of the one of the web page, we can be able to move on to the other web pages uh, with the help of the hyperlinks in between them. So this World Wide Web is about the web pages which are being hosted onto the internet, onto the respective servers, and internet is about the routers. Now, due to the ease of explaining the properties of these networks as graphs, we used the graph theoretical notation to devise the new models of these graphs. Now, now with this brief background, let us go some detail into the idea behind uh, my work that I wanted to do. That into the literature, some of the networks, some of the substructures are being recognized as the motifs or the building blocks of the networks, and those building blocks are being termed as the network motifs with respect to the following definition: that if we will generate an equal size random graph in comparison to a real world graph, then the existence of some offset of the subgraphs whose probability of appearing inside the random graph um, is equal or greater than the uh, in comparison to the real world with respect to a certain cutoff value, then we used to call that particular network as a that particular subgraph of that network as the motive, and generally this cutoff has been taken as the 0.01. So here into the work of the Milo and et al, they have studied about the different biological networks, and they have given a number of the graphs as it can be observed into this particular figure, and they have generally observed it for the dielectric graphs. Then into the year 2007, Natasha Puzzles has generalized the motifs, and she has explained that if we will consider the induced subgraphs uh, whose average or larger number of occurrences are to be considered, then we can be able to identify a number of the undirected subgraphs, and she called these subgraphs as the graphlets. So she studied the different types of 3-node graphlets, 4-node graphlets, and the 5-node graphlets. And with respect to that, she has investigated into the different set of biological network. Now, they are being considered as the building blocks. So our idea was that can we be able to generate the network with the help of these building blocks, because generally into the different set of models which are early being proposed, the networks are being generated with the help of the attachment of a new node inside a graph with some existing edges. So in our case, we want to take either a triangle or some other 4-node based cycle based structure to generate the whole graph. So one of the model which is being proposed about the um, about the generation of graph, that is based upon the Kronecker product of matrices. In the case of the Kronecker product of the matrices, the different set of graphs are being taken, and in order to generate the connectedness inside these graphs, loops are being uh, constructed on each set of the nodes. Now with the help of these nodes, when we used to take the product of the matrices, then similar type of structure is being generated with respect to the graphs, such that the George Leskovic has investigated the different properties. They have studied their degree distribution, they have studied their average path length, and the diameter. So in that case, they have investigated the different properties. Now, with the help of this intuition of the product graph, where they have taken the product with the help of the matrices, we have we have introduced the corona product of two graphs. We have taken another inspiration with the literature as the corona product of two graphs. Now into the corona product of two graphs, it was proposed by Frucht and Harari in the year 1970, in which they have taken two different graphs. Let us suppose that those graphs are G and H, where the graph G has 3 nodes, while the graph H is having 4 nodes. Now, in order to generate the first, in order to generate the corona product of two graphs, we have to take as many copies of the graph H as there are number of the nodes inside the graph G. So here in this graph G, there are 3 nodes into the graph G. So we have to take 3 copies of the graph H such that these 3 copies are shown into this particular below figure. Now each copy of this graph H is to be connected with a node of the graph G, such that after this corona product, this type of structure would be generated. Now the number of the nodes here, the after the destination, if suppose the number of the nodes inside the graph G is n, and the number of the nodes inside the graph H is m, then after this corona product, the number of the nodes inside the graph GH, and this corona product is being represented by this notation GH, then the number of the nodes are n into m. So in this way, this corona product structure is being created. So here one thing I want to mention that that if any of the 2 nodes are connected inside the graph H, then on the connection of these connected nodes with a node of the graph G, a triangle is being induced, and it is being observed into the real world graphs that triangles are responsible for the generation of the communities inside the real world graphs. So that is why we have analyzed the different set of graph products, and that is why we have taken the corona product, that a large number of the triangles are generated inside these graphs, and these triangles are responsible for the community formation into the real world graphs. As you can be able to see that here in this copy, these 2 nodes are not connected to each other. So when these 2 nodes onto the corona product would be connected with this particular node, then a triangle wouldn't be induced in between them. But these 2 nodes which are connected to each other, when they are being connected to this particular node, then a triangle is being generated in between these 3 nodes of the graph. So in this way, this corona product is useful for the generation of the triangles inside the graph. Now with this particular idea, we have given the corona graphs in which rather than taking the heterogeneous product of 2 different types of graphs, we have taken the homogeneous product of the graph in such a into the first step in such a way that we have taken a initial graph, we call that particular initial graph as the seed graph. So with the help of that particular seed graph, we are repeating the whole product of the graph repeatedly. So suppose that here there is a triangle. So here in this triangle, in order to generate the graph into the first iteration of the product graph, we have to take 3 instances of the triangle and connect each instance of the triangle with each node of the graph. So here you can be able to see that we have taken this initial seed graph, which is a triangle, or we can be able to say that it is a 3 node complete graph. Now with the help of this, then we have taken 3 different copies of the triangles. So it is the first copy, it is the second copy, it is the third copy. Now in this same corona product, we have connected 1 copy with 1 node of the graph, such that after the connection of the first triangle with the node, this structure will be generated in an intermediate way. This corona product is not complete, it is just of the intermediate step, it is just a in between step. Then the second copy would be connected with the second node of the existing seed graph, such that this structure will be generated in the intermediate step. Now, then this particular copy would be connected with this particular node, such that after the first completion of the first iteration of the corona product, this structure of 12 nodes would be generated. Then, in order to generate the corona graphs, we have uh, we have we have done the repeated product of the graph multiple times. We have taken the repeated product of the graph multiple times, such that here there are 12 nodes. Now in order to generate the graph into the second corona product, we have to take this particular graph is having 12 nodes. Now we have to take 12 copies of the triangles and connect each copy of a triangle with a distinct node of the existing graph. So a triangle would be taken, and so that first instance of the triangle is to be connected with this node. Second instance of the triangle is to be connected with this node. Third instance of the triangle will be connected to this node. And in this way, each instance of the triangle is be connected with a distinct node of the existing graph, such that after the second corona product, this whole structure is being generated. Here, this is the so now as you can be able to observe that the number of the nodes are increasing exponentially, such that the number of the nodes after the second corona product are n into n plus 1 whole square, if n are the number of the nodes initially. So here the n is equal to 3. So this particular structure is having 48 nodes, and uh, and here you can be able to observe that the triangles are connected to the existing structure inside the existing graph. Now, if we will repeat this whole process again, then we have to take 48 copies of the triangles, and those 48 copies are to be connected with each uh, with a distinct node of the existing graph, such that this graph is being generated into the third corona product, in which the seed graph is a triangle. Now then we have investigated the structural properties of these graphs. I am just telling the properties of the corona graph, such that I can be able to say that what are the factors because of which we have investigated the generalized corona graphs. So then we have investigated the degree distribution. We have derived that the cumulative degree distribution of the graph decays exponentially when the seed graph is an R regular graph. So here R refers to that each node inside the seed graph is having the same degree, that is R. So R refers to that thing. Now we have observed that when the seed graph is a triangle, then the cumulative degree distribution decays exponentially, uh, and the corresponding degree distribution curve is same when the is same in each corona product. For example, here you can be able to observe that we have generated the graph after the 6th iteration as well as the 7th iteration, and in that case the curve is similar to each other. Into the 6th iteration, the number of the nodes are 12,228 and 288, while into the 7th iteration the number of the nodes are 49,152. So the probability of a node having a particular degree is same in each of the iteration. Similarly, then we have also generated, although we have derived this theorem for the R regular graph, but uh, but this this graph is also valid when the graph is a path graph. Path graph is those graphs in which the endpoints are having the degree 1, while the intermediate nodes are having the degree 2. So we have derived this result for the R regular graph. P3 is not a R regular graph, so it is a special case of the irregular graph, in which the number of the nodes are having the different degrees. So here we have also observed that the degree distribution is decaying exponentially. Actually, our idea was that if the seed graphs are being considered as the building blocks of the graphs, then can we be able to derive the properties of the graph with respect to those original seed graphs? So later we have introduced about the diameter. So here we have observed that the diameter of the seed graph is increasing with the increment of 2 in each iteration, such that if this is the graph generated into the after the first corona product, then into the second corona product a triangle. So here in this case the triangle has the diameter. If I will consider just a triangle, so triangle has the diameter just one. Diameter is the if I will list down all of the shortest path, all of the length of the shortest path inside the whole graph, then the upper bound then the upper bound in between them is the diameter. So the triangle has the diameter has 1. So here that here this particular graph, the upper bound of the total distance is 3. So after the second corner product, an instance of the triangle is being connected with each node of the existing graph, such that if these two nodes, if this node as well as this node is being considered as the farthest node inside the graph, and the distance between them is 3, then on the connection of a new seed graph with a node of this graph, with the node of the existing graph, and a new seed graph is being connected with this node of the graph, then the distance is getting increased by 2 So the 2 will be added at both of the side, at this side as well as this side, such that this particular triangle, such that the distance originally was 3 in between these 3 nodes. On the attachment of this triangle as well as this triangle, the distance has increased, um, the length has increased by 2. So in this way, the diameter is increasing. Although we have not proved about the average path length, a group of the authors have proved for a special case of the R regular graph, when the seed graph is a special case of the R regular graph, or it is a complete graph in which all of the nodes are having the same degree. In that case, they have proved that the average path length is the um, is the big O of the logarithmic of number of the nodes, or it is a small word. Then we have also derived the node betweenness distribution. Node betweenness tells the importance of a node inside the graph. So we have observed that we have derived that the cumulative betweenness, node betweenness distribution of these graphs, which is being generated with respect to a clique, where clique is a complete graph of n nodes. So here it follows a power law, and the power law exponent is approximately 2. So here this is the graph, and then later we have also derived the spectral properties of the corona graphs. In our case, we have derived the adjacency spectra as well as the Laplacian spectra as well as the signless Laplacian spectra. Here I am just giving an idea that the adjacency matrix of the graph can be constructed with the help of the seed graph and the identity matrices of the existing and the identity matrix of the some size. Now, with the help of that, with the help of this understanding of the adjacency matrix, we have derived the the spectrum, the adjacency spectrum of the regular graph, in which we have observed that there are multiplicities of the different values or eigenvalues inside the graph, and all of these and the eigenvalues of this graph can be expressed into the eigenvalues of the seed graphs. So here you can be able to observe that G is a that if the seed graph is a 3 regular graph, or it is a 4 node complete graph, then we can be able to determine the properties of these graphs in terms of the eigenvalues of the seed graph. Similarly, if the seed graph is a three-node star graph, or star graph is that graph in which a node is having the degree 2, degree n minus 1, while the rest of the nodes are having the degree 1. So in this case also, we can be able to determine the properties of the adjacency spectra of this graph in terms of the properties of the old graphs. Similarly, we have also determined the distribution of these graphs, in which we have observed that here the multiplicity of the eigenvalues of the different graphs. Similarly, we have also derived the Laplacian spectra of the corona graphs, and we have expressed their properties in terms of the Laplacian eigenvalues of the seed graphs. So here, in all of these cases, our aim was we have tried to achieve our aim that we can be able to explain the properties of the generated graph in terms of the properties of the seed graph, that whether it is the adjacency spectra, whether it is the Laplacian spectra, similarly whether it is the signless Laplacian spectra, in all of these cases we can be able to derive the properties of the spectra of for these matrices in terms of the properties of their original seed graph. Now with this particular thing, then we try to model those graphs with the help with the generalized corona graphs. Till now we have only considered the graphs in which any of the two nodes are connected deterministically with each other without any probability. Now here in this case, any of the two nodes are not connected with any probability p, but the real world networks can never be able to say we can never be able to say that any two nodes are connected to each other deterministically. There must be some probabilistic notion inside the graph. So in order to introduce the probabilistic notion, we have used the heterogeneous graph. So first of all, I will give an idea why we are calling the graph which are being constructed with the generated with the heterogeneous graphs as the generalized corona graph, because the generalized corona graphs is being proposed by the three Iranian mathematicians, and in which they have taken a respect to so here this triangle has three nodes. One thing I want to mention, that the initial graph can be a triangle or any other graph. So here again, that this particular node is connected is being the product of this graph is being taken with three different types of graphs. Here this particular graph is a triangle, is an edge. The other graph is a four node cycle, and the other graph is a three node star graph. So this is the star graph, this is the cycle, and this is the edge. So with that we can be able to generate a generalized corona graph in which a node of the existing triangle is would be connected to the end points of the edge. Similarly, the other node would be connected with each of the node of the four node cycle. Similarly, a node would be connected to each of the node of a three node star graph. Now with this, these researchers have derived the adjacency spectra with respect to these graphs. So here we have further generalized it, rather than defining the properties of these graphs as the two node graph, four node graph, three node graph. we have assumed that that in place of them, we are replacing them with the heterogeneous graph. So here you can be able to see that there is a initial graph which is a connected graph. So here this connected graph can be either a star graph as shown at here, or some other structure. So here we can be able to observe that this is an heterogeneous graph. Here with by the dotted lines, it is being indicated that the edge would exist in between these two nodes with respect to some probability p. So this dotted edge may exist or may not exist inside the graph. So if this dotted edge may exist, then then we could be able to represent this edge as a solid line. But since it is a probabilistic phenomena, so we are currently indicating it as a dotted line. So when we will take the product of this corona graph with this ER graph, then again we have to take 3 copies of this heterogeneous graph with the 3 nodes of with respect to the 3 nodes of this connected graph. Now, one thing I want to mention that here for the sake of simplicity, the number of nodes into the ER graph are taken same with respect to the original graph. Otherwise, it would be very much difficult to model. So here we have assumed that these 3 nodes, and that this ER graph has been taken of the 3 nodes, which is equivalent to 3 nodes of the connected graph. Now we have taken 3 copies of the heterogeneous graph such that 1 copy of the heterogeneous graph is being connected to one of the distinct node of the connected graph. Similarly, the other copy is being connected towards the another node of the existing connected graph. Similarly, a third copy of the ER graph is being connected with this third node of the existing connected graph. Now, one thing that I want to mention that all of the solid edges are indicated that they are the deterministic edges, while the dotted edges into these 3 substructure which are attached after the first corona product are indicating the probabilistic edges. So out of these 9 probabilistic edges into this particular structure, it may be possible either none of the edges exist, so these edges are just 0, or only one edge may exist out of 9, or 2 edges may exist out of 9, or all of the 9 edges may exist, or some other value in between 3, 4, 7, 3, 4 up to the 9. So after this first generalized corona product, in order to generate the graph into the next iteration, then we have to take 12 copies of the heterogeneous graph, and those 12 copies are to be connected again with the each node of the existing graph, such that after this particular generation, then this type of structure would be generated. So now at here, 12 instances of the ER graphs having the 3 nodes are being connected with each node of the existing graph. Now in this way, we can be able to generate the graph successively. Now the heterogeneous graphs which gets connected with each node into each corona product, their nodes are connected to each other with the probability p. So again, the solid lines are indicating the deterministic edges, while the dotted lines are indicating the random edges. Now some of the observations before going into the detailed properties about the average path length. Let us go about to the simplistic observations associated with the generalized corona graph. That the number of the nodes, that in each of the instance, the number of the nodes in the ith corona product, the number of the nodes which are increasing to the graph is n square into n plus 1 is to the power I minus 1. So these many nodes are increasing in each iteration, and the total number of the nodes inside the graph is n into n plus 1 is to the power m, where m is indicating the after the mth corner product. So in this way, after the first corner product, the number of the nodes will become n into n plus 1. After the second corner product, it would become n into n plus 1 raised to the power 2. Similarly, after the third corner product, it would become n into n plus 1 raised to the power 3. So in this way, the number of the nodes are increasing exponentially in this graph. So the number of the newly appeared node is basically this much, and the total number of the nodes inside the graph is basically n into n plus 1 raised to the power I. Now, as all of you can be able to observe into the old graph, into the previous graph, into the previous slide, that initial graph is a connected graph. Similarly, each instance of the heterogenic graphs are connected deterministically to the existing graph. So in this way, the whole graph is a connected graph. And only instance of the randomness exists in between any two nodes is with respect to the instance of the heterogenic graphs attached to the existing graph, and those two edges are connected with each other with the probability p. Now again, the expected number of the edges inside the graph is basically nc2 into p plus n into n plus 1 raised to the power m. Here nc2 into p are the expected number of the edges inside an heterogenic graph, and refers to that the number of the edges that are being generated while connecting the heterogenic graph with a node of the previously with a node of the existing graph. So these many edges are to be multiplied with the n plus 1 raised to the power m. So here in this way, the expected number of the edges has arisen. Now here this E0 is indicating the number of the edges inside the initial connected graph. So the expected number of the edges inside this graph is approximately equal to this particular value. Now the other thing that I want to mention is about the Pascal-Steingel phenomenon. We have observed that we can be able to identify these graphs, that we can be able to identify the generation of these graphs with the Pascal-Steingel. So let us suppose into the first iteration there is an isolated node, and into the first corner product a node gets attached to this node 0. So this particular node is having the symbol 1, and so into the first corner product one node get attached to this particular node. Into the second corner product, those nodes which are labeled with the 2 get attached with each node of the existing graph. Into the third corner product, each of the nodes which are having the label 3, they gets connected with the existing nodes of the graph. Now we know that the Pascal-Steingel is a triangular array of the binomial coefficients. And so these attachment of these nodes are being attached in the form of a binomial, coefficients. They are getting attached to the graph such that after the first attachment of this particular node with the existing graph, it can be represented with this 0C0, which is indicating that the first nodes get attached with a existing node of the graph. Similarly, with respect to the into the second corner product, two different nodes are being connected within existing nodes of the graph. So one node is being connected with a node having the label 0, and the other node is being connected with the node having the label 1. Now here here the label refers to the shortest distance from the root. So the root is the node 0, and the label is the shortest distance of those nodes. So here 1C0 represents one node is attached with the node having the label 0, and the one node is being attached with the node having the label 1. Similarly, into the third iteration, we can be able to represent in this way that uh, one node is being attached with the node having the label 1, while two nodes are being attached with a node with two different nodes of this particular rooted tree. So here this rooted tree is into the reverse order as the bottom up as the bottom up representation. So here two different nodes are being attached to an existing uh, to the existing nodes, such that it can be represented as 2c1 2c2, where this 2c2 refers to the to a new node is being attached to the existing node into the into this third iteration. So in this way, we can be able to say that I can be able to simplify the rows of the Pascal's triangle as into the first corner product, one particular one node has attached. Into the second corner product, one node has attached to the node having the label 0, while the other node is being attached to the label 1. So in this way, the Pascal's triangle is also growing. The Pascal's triangle is also growing, in which each row is indicating the operation with respect to the successive corner product. Now into the third corner product, one one of the node is being attached to the node having the label 0. Then two nodes are being attached at the label 1, and three nodes are being attached at the label 1. So in this way, we can be able to write it as 1 to 1. So with respect to the nodes which are attached at the label 0, this 1 is there. With respect to the nodes which are attached at the label with respect to the nodes which are attached at the label 0, this 1 is there. With respect to the nodes which are attached at the label 1, these two this 2 number is there to quantify the number of the nodes attached. Similarly, with respect to the number of the nodes which are attached at the label 2, their count is 1 is there. So each row is having the counts of the nodes which are attached in each iteration. Similarly at here into this particular graph, that into the fourth corner product, a node is being attached at the label 0, and its count is 1. Similarly, to those nodes which are having the label 1, they are being attached at here, and their count is 1, 2, and 3, and their count is indicated as 3 at here. Similarly, three nodes are attached at the label 2. So here it is the first node, it is the second node, and it is the third node. So here it is indicating 3 at here. Similarly, one node is attached at the node having the label 3. So here this value is shown. So in this way, we can be able to represent the Pascal's triangle, the generation of the of a tree with respect to a Pascal's triangle. Now, the Pascal's triangles helps in determining the following properties of the generalized coronagraphs, GCGER. GCGER is the acronym that we have used for the generalized coronagraphs defined by Erdős graphs. So we can be able to determine with the help of the Pascal's triangle average path length, diameter, node betweenness, and edge betweenness. Rather than giving a detailed proof, I will just present a sketch that how the results have been determined with the help of the Pascal's triangle. So the Pascal's triangle helps in determining these properties that I have listed by recursively dividing the rooted tree into the smaller instances of the subtrees, into the smaller sizes of the subtrees. Similarly, it also helps in determining the distances of the compound node Ci from their root or any other compound node inside the graph. So here suppose that this is that these are the nodes which are being attached to the successive iteration. Now here this C4 C3 is indicating the compound node. The compound node refers to that that all of the nodes which are getting attached in a particular instance to an existing node of the corona graph into the generalized corona graph. This a compound node is indicating the bunch of the ER graphs which are attached in a single iteration with respect to the nodes at the level 0, at the level 0 with respect to their ancestor. So here this Ci is representing the compound node, and those compound nodes encompasses a different set of ER graphs, and those ER graphs and the count of those ER graphs are increasing as a multiple of n inside the graph. Now, with the help of this Pascal's triangle, we can be able to recursively divide the tree. For example, here we can be able to observe that here this particular graph can be represented with a 5-row Pascal's triangle, but it is basically a form of two different instances of the 4-row Pascal's triangle, such that one of the instance is basically this particular subtree. The other instance is basically this subtree. Now here in this way, if we will remove the edge in between this C1 and C0, now this is a subtree and this is the other subtree. In this way, we can be able to divide the tree. Similarly, we can be able to divide the subtrees recursively. That here this is one of the subtree. Now the other subtree that we have extracted into the previous slide can be further divided into the smaller structure. So here this structure is having 8 nodes. We can be able to divide it into 2 subtrees, in which one of the subtrees having the 4 nodes and the other subtree is having the 4 nodes, such that one of the subtree is of this form, while the other subtree is encompasses the nodes, compound nodes C1, C4, C3, and the other instance of the C4, such that after this instance, this is the one of the compound node, and this is one of the subtree, and this is the other subtree. Now, with the help of that, we can be able to recursively divide the tree. That here we have a 5-row Pascal's triangle. We have a tree, rooted tree. We can be able to divide into a 4-row Pascal's triangle with respect to this structure and this structure. Now we can be further be able to divide this structure into the 2 parts, such that those 2 parts can finally come as this part and this part. So in this way, we can be able to divide the tree. Now the other thing is that we want to find out the distance between the compound nodes. So those distances of the compound nodes which are attached to their root. So suppose that C0 is the root. So the distance of the compound node C1 with respect to the C0 is just 1. Similarly, the distance of the compound 2 with C2 with respect to the root C0 is 2 at here, while C2, which is attached to the node having the label 0, is that at the distance 1. So we can be able to construct a triangular array of the distances with respect to their parent node. Now, similarly, if we will generate the graph further, then those instances of the compound nodes which are attached into the 3rd iteration, their distances can also be determined with respect to their root. So this particular compound node is at the distance 3, and these 2 compound nodes are the distance 2, and this compound node is at the distance 1. So in this way, this triangular array is growing, and it is indicating the distance of the compound nodes from their respective root. Now, as I mentioned that we can be able to divide the trees into the smaller subtrees, and those smaller subtrees are also rooted to their smaller structure. So if I will suppose that this was the subtree that I have extracted, and this C1 is the root, so I can be able to find out the distance of the C4 with respect to this node C1. Similarly, I can be able to find out the distance of this C4 and this C4 with respect to this C1, such that the distance of these nodes from there and Chester is again can be represented as a triangular array. Similarly, with respect to this particular substructure, we can also be able to construct a triangular array of the distances. Now, with the help of these formulations, we have to also consider that the number of the nodes in the compound nodes are increasing as a factor of n raised to the power I plus 1 with respect to their distance from the root, and a pair of node may be and we have to also think that a pair of nodes can be having the random edge in between them. Then we can determine the distances in between the deterministic paths. So now we can be able to observe that the average path length of the generalized Corona graph is basically the big O of the logarithmic of number of the nodes, where n refers to the number of the nodes inside the generated graphs. So it is a small bird. Similarly, the expected diameter of the graphs is d0 plus 2n. So in this way, these two properties match with the deterministic graph. But the expected node betweenness is very difficult to determine. We are not able to reduce it to some distribution method. We have just observed that the expected between centrality of a node BLI such that it is being attached into the ith iteration, and there L, and here L represents that it is the part of the Lth instance of the ER graph which is being attached in the ith iteration. Then the betweenness centrality can be represented by this particular thing. So here P into E and P is indicating the expected number of the shortest paths in between any two nodes. So here in this case, the probability is playing some role to explain the properties with respect to the random graph, because we have introduced the randomness here at here in this graph. Now if the number of the nodes is greater than or equal to 3, then we have again this type of phenomenon. Here this is the big O notation. It is indicating that when I is equal to 0, then it is the big O of 2 raised to the power 2m plus 1 into p. So this type of structure can be determined. So if a particular node is being attached into the ER graph into the last iteration, then its node betweenness would always be 0. But those nodes which are existing in between, their betweenness can be represented with the help of this particular expression. And those nodes which are the part of the originally connected graph, their betweenness can be represented with this particular expression. Now when n is greater than equal to 3, then again we can be able to determine this particular these three different expressions with respect to the nodes which are attached into the 0th iteration, into the mth iteration, or in between any intermediate iteration of first, second up to m-1. Now for the expected edge betweenness, before presenting the result about the edge betweenness, I want to mention that that in between that there are two different types of edges inside the graph. That one of the edges in between any two nodes which is always deterministic, and one of the edge exists in between two nodes of the ER graph, which such that these two nodes are probabilistically connected to each other. In such that in this case we can be able to derive the expected edge betweenness of such an edge when the endpoints of an edge belongs to different set of ER graphs. Then it can be represented with the help of these two expressions. So if those nodes which are being attached into the 0th iteration can be represented with this particular expression, and those nodes which are being attached to the graph into 1, 2 up to m-2 can be represented with this expression. Similarly, if the both set of the ER graphs are attached into the same iteration, then we can be able to determine the expected L between S for n is equal to 2 with this expression, and n is equal to 3 with this expression. Now the degree distribution, we have also derived the degree distribution. We are not able to classify the degree distribution with some predefined results, because in this case because of the randomness, we have not obtained a smooth distribution, as it can be observed that when the probability is 0.1 and after the 100 iterations, there is a lot of fluctuations inside the degree of the nodes. Similarly, when p is equal to 0.4, and then after the 100 iterations, then again there is a fluctuations into the degree. So with respect to that, we can be able to derive the degree distribution in this form. We have also derived the expected number of the triangles, such that the expected number of the triangles when n is equal to 2 can be represented by this form, and when n is greater than or equal to 3, then it is of this form. Then, as you can be able to observe that when the probability is very less, it is closer to 0, then the number of the triangles would be very lesser, and when that when the probability is high, then the number of the triangles are a large number of the triangles are present, and it is about t raised to power m plus 1. Similarly, we have given a lower bound for the n is greater than equal to 3. Again, here the number of the triangles are increasing exponentially inside this graph, and we have further derived the clustering coefficient. The clustering coefficient tells about the what is the probability that my friends are also connected to each other. So here in this case, when n is equal to 2, then it has very small clustering coefficient, but for the other case, it has some significant value. Now the conclusion is that with respect to the deterministic graph and the probabilistic graph, we can be able to compare the properties of the graphs generated into the deterministic and the random way. But here in this case, the diameter and the average path length is similar, having the same type of properties in both types of the graphs, while those properties which are dependent upon the probability, like the degree distribution, node betweenness, edge betweenness, they differ from the standard results. And in the future work, we want to investigate the spectra of the generalized coordinate graphs, and we also want to study the dynamical behavior of the nodes on the nodes of generalized coordinate graphs. Thanks for listening.
He can hear us now. Yes. Thanks, Rohan. We're almost out of time. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Rohan?
yes, I can hear you. Yes, okay. I can hear you.
So we're almost out of time. I guess my question would be, when you introduce your Erdos-Renyi graph, you're introducing a lot of randomness, but at the same time, there's still a lot of structure in that you have a spanning tree, which is, well, there's a tree with a regular number of nodes on each level. Have you thought about generalizing it to one where you just throw away some nodes as well as you grow the tree?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have just thought about generalizing it. Actually, we have taken the Erdos-Renyi idea in order to generalize it. But in our case, we have observed that only few of the properties are deviating. I think that is the question, because the properties are not much different in comparison to the deterministic graph, and their properties are heavily dependent upon the deterministic edges inside the graph. So if we will take the whole graph into the whole random graph, then we can be able to have some more interesting properties. But the problem with those graphs is that the graph is growing exponentially. So it is very difficult to take care of all of the different factors inside the graph.
Yeah, I guess you could see that already with some of the results you had for the at the end for the between the centrality and those other parameters. Are there any other questions online or Thomas?
Yeah, I was just wondering if there are any real-world examples for these sorts of structures or generating processes that are similar to this multiplication to the corona product.
Did you get that, Rohan?
Yeah, I got, but I actually, but in terms of the real world examples, we have not thought. Actually, in this case, the network is increasing exponentially. We have thought that if we can be able to model the friendship networks in which a group of the people are attaching to each set of existing set of nodes, then we can be able to model. But in that case, in our case, ER graph is a special case in which all of those groups which are attaching to the graphs must be having the same number of the nodes. So it would be a special case of the attachment of the group of people to the existing each node of the graph. So right now we have just thought in this way only.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Do you have any questions online? Going once, going twice. If there's no further questions, we'll draw the session to a close. Thank you very much, Rohan.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll finish the recording if I find where the button is.